Okay, good morning and welcome to Sukkah Daf 55. This is the penultimate Daf today. You know what penultimate means?
Yes,
What does it mean?
that we explain the most.
We explain it in the
The
most
most
ultimate way.
That's right.
Is that what you thought it meant?
No, I
With
did
our pens, we write things.
the right stuff.
Penultimate means second to last.
Penultimate.
Penultimate,
Not
yeah.
such a word as
All
penultimate.
right, with that, what does penultimate mean? I don't know. All right, with that, I have a question for you. Can I ask you a question? You're ignoring me. I don't know what. Come on, join the fun. He doesn't want to join the fun anymore. He got insulted one time. I tried to talk to him. He's a Rosh Kolal, but I'm also a Rosh Yeshiva. I'm Rosh Magid Shir, so we're on the same level, right? I'm a Magid Shir. He's a Rosh Kolal. Who's better, Rosh Kolal or Magid Shir?
Well,
Who do you have to give more cover to, a Magid Shir or Rosh Kolal?
that's a good question.
The Magid Shir gets paid. The Rosh Kolal has to go get paid. He has to collect his money. Magid Shir sits in yeshiva, he's free to give a shir, and then the Rosh Yeshiva collects for him. Rosh Kola has to collect money himself. He has to go to America. He has to wear himself out, beg people for money, right?
That's right.
So who's better, Magid Shir or Rosh Kola? Magid Shir is better.
That's right.
I don't think he knew what penultimate was. Do you believe that? I thought he was an educated American. I thought he knew what that was. Maybe he didn't do so well on his SATs. You know what I got on my SATs, Shmuel? You know what an SAT is?
No. Sad.
There's actually there's two tests in America that get you into college. Our way of college evaluating your intellectual abilities. There's the SATs, which is primarily the East Coast, and the ACTs, which is ACT, which is the West Coast. ACTs, there's ACT and SAT. Which one is better? According to the Torah, Shev al Tasa, right? You sit, and you don't act, right? It's better to take the SATs. The SAT is considered a more comprehensive test, harder test. You probably did not take the SATs, or did you?
No.
At the end of high school, you never took the SATs? It's graded out of 1600. 800 verbal, 800 mathematics. You didn't take that? Which high school did you go to?
It doesn't exist anymore.
They were cheating the government. They weren't offering SATs. Anyway, the SATs I took, very good. I got a very good score. I got a 1510. It's pretty good. That's 90 points away from 600, 1600. Almost a perfect score. I got a perfect score in verbal.
Really?
Yes. I got a perfect score in verbal. I can't say it was 100% honest because for some reason they gave us a break in the middle of the test to just talk to each other, and someone told me something I had gotten wrong. I had made a mistake on. Told me a word, docket. I didn't know the word docket meant. I changed my answer afterwards, so it was imperfect. I guess that's called cheating, but you know.
No, it's not cheating.
It is cheating. It is. You're not allowed to change your answer based on someone else tells you. I don't know. They completely let us take a break in the middle and talk to each other. So I don't know how they.
That's wrong. They caused this.
I'm not condoning cheating. Cheating is wrong. But I was young. I made a mistake. I cheated a little bit. I did get a perfect score. I got an 800. I probably would have got a 790, 780. I actually asked the rabbi afterwards because I got into YU. I got a scholarship to YU. I got a scholarship to a number of colleges, but I got a scholarship to Yeshiva University, partially based on my high SAT score. And he boarded the Shiloh to write Willig, or Mordechai Willig. You heard of him?
Sure.
Yeah, he is the head, one of the
big
Rabbanim of the RCA,
He's a
Rabbinical Council of America. He's a big Rosh Yeshiva in Yeshiva University.
Yes.
He paskins.
In the Bronx, I think he has a shul.
He
No, in
pas-
Passaic, where do they have a shul?
He paskin that probably a lot of people do that, what I did, and they don't intend to.
They know that.
Yeah, they know going in, people probably cheat a little bit, so it was
Very
okay.
nice.
I don't have to, because I was wondering, am I stealing from Yeshiva University
Very nice
based on my,
of you to even ask such
because
a
I
question.
became from, because when I cheated, I wasn't so from, but over a course of a year, beginning of YU, somehow People go to YU, they say it's called, you go to Israel after high school, you get brainwashed. Right? That's what they call it, brainwashed. You go to Israeli yeshiva, like Yisrael Lev here, or Shalavim, or KBY, or maybe OJ, and you get brainwashed. They call it brainwashed. They wash out your brain, and they tell you what you've done for the first 18 years of your life as a modern Orthodox kid is wrong. I didn't go to an Israeli school. My parents fought me tooth and nail that I shouldn't go to Nivaseret. Nivaseret is considered a not such a persuasive school. They don't brainwash as much as other kids. My father did not let me go. He was very upset that I tried to go. I ended up not going. I went straight to college, but I became from in YU. Everyone says YU, you go after the year and the gap year. You go to Israel and you go back to YU and you lose your brainwash. You come back part of the world. You go watch TV there, the big screen TV.
Weird.
Yeah,
YU?
yeah. You go date the Stern girls. You go pick them up at the Brookdale campus, I think it is, Midtown Manhattan. You have a good time with them, But I didn't do that. I actually became from. I'm the opposite. I became from in YU. You believe it? To the point that after 3 years of YU, I went to the Mir Yeshiva in Israel. Going straight from high school, Rambam Sifta High School, Modern Orthodox High School, to YU, to Mir. Few people have walked that tightrope. Few people.
That's right.
I walked the tightrope.
That's right.
So they say, Gesher Tzar Mahod, right?
That's right.
The world is like, those people. You ever heard of Nick Walenda, who walks the tightrope?
No.
The Walenda family. They basically put a string, a rope, between two tall buildings and, hundreds of feet off the ground. They walk the tightrope. A lot of times without a harness. They fall, they die. I think one of the grandfathers passed away, he died on one.
Really?
Recently, they walked over a volcano, I think, in South America.
Oh,
This is serious stuff. So
that's crazy.
This is what life is like. I'm telling you. Gesher Tzar Ma'od. What do you think the Gesher is? The tightrope.
It's true. It's important to realize that. That's right. You have to keep focused.
I'm Nick Walenda, 2.0.
The right. And I'm, what do you call the president
You're
of
the,
Swaziland.
you're the silver,
I'm president.
silver Swaziland.
I'm president of Nicobendo.
What's the name of Swaziland now? What's the official name of the country?
Now?
Yeah.
I think Pickles.
Eswatini, I think it's called. It's in Africa.
It's close.
You knew that? It's in Africa?
Pickles.
How many people live in Africa? You know that?
At least 3.
You know 3 people from Africa? South Africa, you probably know Dr. Bortz, Dr. Levine, all the doctors here from South Africa. So Tulsa's full of South Africans. There's 1.3 billion people live in Africa.
Really?
But India, one country in Asia, has 1.4 billion.
Really?
And China has 1.5 billion, another country in Asia. So those 2 countries have more, and Africa is the second biggest continent. The biggest, obviously, is Asia, which is over 4 billion people.
Wow.
But Africa is 1.3 billion, but not as big as India and China. Do you know that? Which country has the most land mass? Controls the most land? Come on, you know this.
Indonesia.
How many islands are in Indonesia? It's comprised of over 17,000 islands, Indonesia. 17,000 islands. And Russia owns the record for the biggest amount of land they own. Okay, we have to go on now. I want to bring up one more thing. Should I bring it up? It's before Rosh Hashanah. Maybe I'll leave it. I got into a big fight with a neighbor a number of years ago. He did another, unethical thing this morning. What do you do? I don't know. What do you do with bullies? He's a bully, this guy.
You have to just.
My wife told me, I don't really own an apartment in this building. I share with my mother-in-law. She owns the apartment. So I don't really have rights to speak, as my wife told me correctly. But this guy's a bully. He took over half of the building, the side of the building. He built a zoo there. He built a store. He built a sukkah for the whole year to put his boxes in. He regularly blocks the entrance to the building with boxes for his store. And now he just put 2 huge air conditioners in front of the building. That's a big eyesore, Hezekiah. I don't know what you do with bullies like this. I don't know. So it's on the one hand, it says in the Torah that you're supposed to make yourself like a midbar. right? On the other hand, you have to live. You have to be a human being, person. And then he tells me, he has the goal to tell me right after he puts these two air conditioners in, the big icer in the building. He tells me that a pipe from my mother-in-law's building is pouring water on his store. It's pouring water on his store when they do the spongia. When they clean for Shabbos, they pour the water that goes out into a storefront that he has in front of the building, which no one wants in front of the building. He's like, tell your mother-in-law. Guy has whatever, a lot of gall. But I was quiet, I've gotten into verbal altercations with this guy many times, and
So you're unfriendly.
we're not on friendly terms at all. The guy is not friendly at all. Not say good morning. I say good morning to him times, does not respond.
It's difficult.
He's a yeshivish guy, a from guy. He doesn't even eat badati lechareis. He shechs his own chickens.
That's why he has a farm.
He's
Maybe that's why he has a
gazlan.
farm, because he needs chickens.
He has parrots. I don't know.
Parrots, he shucks parrots. That's
I don't know if he shechs the
We
parrots.
should call the ASPCA.
The guy is mamish a gazlan.
No, I think it's wrong.
I don't know, and
I heard these noises, these like squawky noises in the middle of the night. Maybe he was shucking those parrots. I think that's inhumane.
If I owned an apartment in that building,
Imagine if the
I don't
parrots
know.
talked and they would say, "Help! He's killing me! He's killing me!" That would be
All
really
right,
scary.
we
The
gotta
police would
learn.
come for sure. Imagine the police would come and they see him shucking a parrot.
I'll talk to him about getting a parrot for you. Maybe we can resolve our issues by
Maybe
you
buy him a parrot and he'll be friends with you. I think we should start a campaign, a national campaign. Buy your friend a parrot.
Okay. You buy me an African gray parrot. I'll take a parrot from his cage there and give it to you. All right. You buy me an African gray parrot.
What does that mean, African gray?
Type of parrot. Costs upwards of $1,500. Could cost $2,000.
I see parrots flying around, parakeets flying around Hillstone.
All right, we gotta move. So the Gemara says they made Hekirim on the top, bottom of the Dalam and B, the top of the Ham and Aleph, to know that it was Chodesh. So now the Gemara is going to go back to Rav Acha. Rav Acha brought a brisa that said that you have trumpet blasts and a separate cheer for every musaf that you bring. Even if you bring 3 musaf from Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Chodesh, you say you have nine trumpet blasts for each one. Meisvei, Keshan, from Brisa, the Tani, Rabbi Bar Shmuel, Yachal Hashem Shetokin al Shas, B'nei Atzmo, Rosh Chodesh, B'nei Atzmo, just like you think there's a Tkiya by Rosh Shabbos, and Tkiya by Rosh Chodesh says in the Pasuk, Kach you token al Kol Musaf and Musaf. You might think that every Musaf needs his own Tkiyas. One for Shabbos, one set for Shabbos, one set for Rosh Chodesh, and Rosh Hashanah coincides with that, or Yom Tov. Talmud, Rosh Chadshechem, Tiyufta. It says Rosh Chadshechem. The Brisa says, because this Pasuk, Rosh Chadshechem, we'll see in a second where we know from the pasuk. So therefore, it says it's not the halacha. You don't need a separate tkiyas for every musaf. Tiyufta. It's a refutation. Tiyufta derbiacha tiyufta. My Talmuda. Where in the pasuk does the Brisa see this? Amar Abaye, Amar Krav, Roshi Chadshechem, Roshi Chadshechem. It says Chadshechem plural. Hukchu kol chadashim kulam zel. It equates all the months, all 12 months, to each other. Right. So therefore, even though Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah falls out on Rosh Chodesh, right? Therefore, it's included in Rosh Chadshechem. Just like Rosh Chodesh, you only have one set of trumpet blasts, and only one korban. Or even if it coincides with Shabbos, whether it coincides with Shabbos or Rosh Hashanah, it's only one set. They're all equated to each other. Rav Ashi Amar Ksiv, what?
Okay.
Chadshechem. Ksiv Rosha. It says the word Chadshechem. It's a Rosha. Which month has 2 heads? Has 2 musafim to signify that it's Rosh Chodesh. Every Omer is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah has Rosh Hashanah, a musaf Rosh Hashanah, and a musaf Rosh Chodesh. Amar Rachman Chadshechem Chadi. It says in the singular. It doesn't say with a yud. It's written Chadshechem. One singular to tell you there's only one trumpet blast, set of trumpet blasts. The Ode, another refutation of Rav Acha, Tanya B'chol Shel Moed Rishon Ha'Yomrim. Why? We know you sing the Shir Shel Yom on we sing the Shir Shel Yom on Chol HaMoed, right? There's a special Shir Shel Yom. They actually printed it here in the shul. They give it out. It's become very popular these days. The name of the Gra. In the first day of Chol HaMoed, they said Havel Hashem B'nei Elim, that pasuk. B'sheni HaYom, L'Rasha, that Tehillim, that capital Tehillim. B'sheni HaYom, the second day of Chol HaMoed, they said L'Rasha Amar Elokim. B'shlishi HaYom Miyakum Li Imreim. This is Perak Sadi Dal. B'Revi HaYom Bina Barim Ba'am. It's also Sadi Dal. Chamishma Yom Re Masros Misev Shikmo. That's Pei Aleph. Mishishma Yom Re Mimotu Komos the Aretz. It's Pei Beis. Shabbos if Shabbos doesn't fall on the first day, it'll fall on the first day of Sukkot as well as during Chol HaMoed, Yemotu Yidach. Then you don't say Yemotu because Shabbos is his own Shira, and so you see, Rav Safra Manach Bahu Simona, Hambui, and for these 6 Shir Shal Yoms, Hu Hambui, right? Hey is for Havu, Vav is Larosha, and so on and so forth. Rav Papa Manach Bahu Simona, Hum Habi. He changes the bays and the hay. Whether you say Binu Borim Ba'am first, or you say Hasirosi Mishev Al Shekmo. Which one do you say first? The Simanech Ambua the Sifri. And the sign to remember this is Sifri, a troop. Troop is a group of people that follow a sofer around. A sofer could be a Talmud Chacham. So anyway, Sifri sounds like Rav Sifra or Rav Safra. So he said Ambui sounds like Humbai, the bays before the hay. Right? What's the question? The question of the Brisa is that you see that if it's Shabbos, we don't say a shir of Chol HaMoed. Why not? According to him, you should say a shir for every korban musa for Shabbos and for the day of Chol HaMoed. You also bring a korban musa. The fact that you don't do that shows that you only say for Shabbos shows that we don't hold like Ravacha. So the Gemara says, he brought a pasuk and he brought a brisa. Seems to say exactly that. Amar Ravina, he says the explanation of the brisa is Lomer Shemarichem Bitkios. The brisa that he brought, what did he say? Asa midroma. Rachanim midroma. Aisim asista biyada. V'nei kwanim yitku b'chatzroso. She'etam lo yitku. She'kvarnei amar v'takat b'chatzroso. All this techam. All this techam. Zeh b'chashamech. Matam lo yitku. Akol lefiyah musafin token. That's the brisa. Akol lefiyah musafin tokens. He interpreted that to mean that you have separate trumpet blasts for every musaf. So the Gemara rejects that. The Gemara says, Amar Ravina, Lomer Shemarichem B'Tkios. It just means, doesn't mean you have extra Tkios. It means that you elongate the Tkios, the 9 Tkios, during both Karbanos, or during the whole libations of the wine. Rabbana de Kisrim, Yishmei de Ravach, Amri, Lomar, a different Pshat Shemarba B'Tokin. It's not that you elongate the Tkios, it's that you have the same length of Tkios, you just have more people. You have a bigger symphony, or orchestra. Right now, we discussed there's an orchestra and a symphony, and after I told you the difference, what I thought the difference was based on what I read on Google, they said that a symphony has over 50 people, an orchestra less than 50 people. I was thinking about it. Now I have my own shot. This is Eno Ben Sion. Give me the music. Give me the music.
Oh, the music.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun.
That's nice. Very nice. Very nice. So orchestra comes to orchestrate. Meaning the difference is whether you have a singer or not. Is the pshat, that's what we had, the ikar shir of a pet, we paskin, that the main type of shira, a wedding singer, he does the vocals, right? So the orchestra is supposed to orchestrate, facilitate, orchestrate. They're supposed to orchestrate to make sure everything runs smoothly. But they're not the ikar, they're the tafel. They're supposed to enhance, live sume kala, as the Gemara said on Daf Yomi Succah, right? Live sume kala, to make his voice sound nicer. That's the whole point of an orchestra. They work with someone who's vocal. A symphony doesn't necessarily have someone who's singing. It's just people playing instruments. It could have someone singing, but the main part of the ikar shira bekli. That's the nafkamina. Whether the ikar shira bekli or shira bet. That's the difference between symphony and orchestra.
Interesting.
Yeah, you like that?
I like it.
That's nice. So Marbi B'Token, they still sang, so it would be an orchestra.
Hask had one symphony. Remember that Hask once had a symphony. Symphonic, they took a lot of Jewish songs and they made it in a symphony style, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Israel Lamb, you don't know who that is. Yeah, he came from a background that they probably didn't.
Israel Lamb? Yeah, he's a conductor, no? I don't know, the Islam Trey, the producer, a conductor. I don't know, the Islam Trey, Yomi, Heithi Avdinan. We have 2 days of Chol HaMoed in Chutz La'aretz. What do you do with the Shir Shal Yom? Abaye Amar Sheni Yidacha. Since you have an extra day, you have one less day of Chol HaMoed, right? Because there's the second day of the first day of Chol HaMoed is really Yom Tov. So Sheni Yidacha, you push off the Sheni, the first one. That should be on the second day. Rava Amar Shvi, the last one, you don't have. Tanya Kvasi the Rava, Imchal Shabbos Yos Be'ach Mahan Yamotu Yidacha. So you see, like him, that in Eretz Yisrael, Yamotu, the 7th one, the last one, the 7th day gets pushed away. So therefore, also in Chutz La'aretz it gets pushed away also. asking a Meimer, but a hard the medallion deluge. A Meimer actually made a takan in a hard which is Bava Chutzaretz, in order to get around this problem. They would say 2 kapitelach Tehillim every day. They would say today's day plus the previous day. So therefore, on the third day of Sukkot, which is the first day of Chol Moed and Chutzaretz, they would say the second one and the first one. So therefore, which is the previous day, so therefore they were able to say all of them. Mishnah. Nun hey amud beis. Getting closer to the end. I can smell the end. What does the end smell like, Shmuel?
It smells?
Smells like fresh eggs.
Very nice smell.
Smells like fresh eggs.
It doesn't smell like anything, more like paper. Oh, eggs, I get it.
Get it,
Because
Beitza.
it's, you
Beitza's the next Masechta.
when you smell I had breakfast.
Shmuel also had, he had raw eggs for breakfast. He's like Rocky.
No, the Chazanim had eggs. They say Chazanim.
Right. He had some raw eggs. He was getting ready to fight a heavyweight battle. You're not a heavyweight. You're like a bantamweight. What are you? Featherweight. All right. Yom Tov Rishon Shachag. Yom Tov Rishon Shachag Shachag Yusham Yud Gimel Parim. There were 13. There were a lot of different animals they brought as korbanos. Yud Gimel Parim. 13 bulls. Elim Shnayim. 2 rams. V'sir Echad and 1 he-goat. Nishtayru Sham Yudalad Kosim L'Shmona Mishmar. The groups of Kohanim were divided into 24 Kohanim. Groups of Kohanim. So we're going to see on Yom Tov they would split up the korbanos of the Chag. They would split it up. They do a rotation. So you had 14 kvasim, 14 sheep, which they brought every day of the 7 days of Sukkot. L'Shmona Mishmaros for 8 Mishmaros. Biyom, and the ones who had extra, there were 6 extra. So we're going to say Biyom Rishon Shisha Makrivin Shnayim Shnayim. Therefore, there were 6 extra korbanos, more than there were 30 korbanos. So the first day of Sukkot, they would bring 2 groups would bring two korbanos. The rest of the groups, the rest of the 18 groups would bring 1 korban. Sheni Chamisha Makrivin Shnayim Shnayim. Every day the parim went down 1. So the first day was 13 parim, the second day 12 parim, etc. So B'Sheni Chamisha Makrivin Shnayim Shnayim, with only 1 korban less. So therefore they had 5 korban, 5 groups brought 2 korbanos. V'ashar echad echad v'shlishi dal makrivin shnayim shnayim. The third day, 4 brought 2 korbanos. V'ashar echad echad ravi shlosh makrivin shnayim shnayim. The 4th day, 3 brought 2 korbanos. V'ashar echad echad v'chamisha shnayim makrivin shnayim shnayim. The 5th day, only 2 brought 2 korbanos. V'ashar echad echad v'shishi echad makriv shnayim. V'ashar echad echad v'shvi kulan shavet. The 7th day, all equal. It actually fell out that they only brought 1. So the Gemara says, "B'Shmini chazul lapayis." The 8th day, Shmini Atzeres, they went back to a lottery. It wasn't connected. We saw on Daf Mem Zayin that it was Shmini Atzeres is different than Sukkot for the Payis, that they have a new lottery between the 24 Mishmaros. Who gets to bring it?
You know about that?
Amru mishahikriv parim ayom v'yakriv l'machar lachozin chalila. They said that when it comes to the parim, we don't say, even if those who brought 2 korbanos, they weren't allowed to bring 2 parim. And not only that, the next day also weren't allowed to bring a par, except there was an exception. Just the first day, one of them was able to bring a parim the first and second day. But besides that, from then on, no group brought a par 2 consecutive days. Where it says, Neima Masnisin, Rabbi he below Rabbanan. Our mission is going to be like Rabbi now Rabbanan. The sign we have a machlokas par babishmini b'tchil mafisin alav dir Rabbi. The par that comes, the 1 par that comes on the 8th day. So they had a lottery between the 24 mishmaros. Rabbi Chamo Omrim Achas Mishim Mishmaros to Shilshu the parim osa osa. He said there were only 2 left. 22 of the korbanos of the mishmaros brought 3 parim over the course of Sukkot, and there were 2 that only brought 2. So those 2 do a lottery. So it says our Mishnah seems to say that chazul apayis the L24. The says afilu temer rabbanan. Our Mishnah can give rabbanan. After shtei mishmaros la'afusei there were 2 left, so they had to do a lottery. There's only 1 korban, so they had to do a lottery between them, but not a lottery between the 24. Come on, as a had the time kol mishmaros shonos mishalshos. All the mishmaros did it 3 times. Shnei mishmaros shonos ve'mishalshos. Except 2 that didn't do it a 3rd time. Name a rabbi below rabbanan. Say it's rabbi and not the rabbanan, right? Because obviously the chiddush is to tell me that on Shmini Atzeres it's different. Shmini Atzeres, they're chozon lapayis. There's a filu tema rabban. You can say this price is in rabban. Milo shilshu b'parei hachag. They didn't do it 3 times. B'parei hachag. Umay kamash malan. Hakamash. What's the chiddush of the price? It's basically just telling me that what happened with the same thing in the Mishnah. Like the Mishnah also says to tell me that you can't bring parim on one mishmar, can't bring parim on a consecutive days. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Hani Shivim parim kenegin me. Why did they bring 70 parim? The first day 13, they went down. The last day was 7, ended up 70. Keneged Shivim umos, 70 nations. Par Yechidi Lama. Why in Shmini Atzeres there was only one par? Keneged Umma Yechida for Klal Yisrael. Mashal Melech Basar V'Dam Amar Lavadov. He said to his servants, also Yisudok Dola. He said, make a big feast for me for 7 days. Yom Achron, the last day, Shmini Atzeres, Amar Lavovo, Asali Sudok Tana Kishtahana Mincha. I want to have a private meal, a small meal with you, so I can benefit from your company. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Oy Lahem L'Ovdi L'Chol M'Sh Avdu Ein Yodim M'Sh Avdu. It's terrible. The Goyim don't know what they lost. Trying to check the time. But when the base of is around, so they brought the parim, which was 70, corresponding to the 70 umos, to mechaper on them. Actually, now there's no more base on Migdash, no more korbanos, no more parei achag, so it's not mechaper on them. The Mishnah, Mishlosha Parakum Bashana, you call Mishmaros Shavuos. 3 times a year, all the Mishmaros were Shavuos, meaning they all could partake of the korban, even if it wasn't your Mishmar. Meimuri Regalim. We'll see what that means exactly. The featured parts of the korbanos of the regalim. And when they gave out lechem upon him, also every week when they get lechem upon him, all the mishmaros could take lechem upon him. Batzeres on Shmuel, so Omer lo helach matzah helach chametz. This is to tell you that on Shavuos they gave out part of lechem upon him at Shabbos. They gave lechem upon him. They also gave out the Shtei Alechem. So each Kohen was entitled to matzah. Matzah, the lechem was made out of matzah, and the Shtei Alechem was made out of chametz. They each got one portion of each. You can't get 2 portions of one or no portions of the other. Mishmar Shizmano Kavu, Hu Makriv Tmidin Nedarim Nedavo, Shar Kabbalah Sivur, Hu Makriv Es Hakol. During the festivals, so the Mishmar whose week it fell out, so they the Emuri Regalim, the Korban Musafin that belonged to the like we said in the previous Mishnah, those Korban Musafim belong to everybody. But the Mishmar whose week it fell out, they bring the Korban Tamid, Nedarim Nedavos, private offerings that people promised to give them his bayah. Shar Kabbalah Sivur, Hu Makriv, and the rest of the Korban Sivur that weren't attached to the Moed. Umakriv as a call, and they actually did the avoda to bring it on the mizbeach. So the Gemara says the emuri regalim shall gavo, and the emuri regalim, the parts of the korbanos that were amar in the Torah, those go up in Ola, go on mizbeach. What do you mean it goes to the mishmar, to the kohanim? It's not talking about the parts of the animal. It's talking about the korbanos that were on the regalim. And certain parts of the korban go to the kohanim. How do you know that all the mishmaros could get partake of the emuri regalim? Talmud Uba b'chol avas nafsho v'sheres. It says kohanim could come at any time they want and they could serve. Yachol. So what is that pasuk talking about? So it's talking about the regalim. So the yachol avas shari mos shana came. Maybe you'll tell me it even applies during the rest of the year. Any mishmar could come and take the korbanos. Talmud Lora me'echad sha'arecha, or one of your gates. Lo marti al b'shar shekol yishal nitnasim b'sharecha. I'm only talking about the regalim. On the 3 regalim, where everyone comes in one gate, they all come into Yerushalayim in one gate. Same as Shayafo. I don't know what gate they come to Knesset Al-Ir. They all come together. That's only on Shalosh regalim, and that's when they all can share in the karbanos. Shmuel, what are you preparing for Beta? What special presentation demonstration are you preparing for Beta? You gonna do like a welcoming dance or something like that?
Oh, I think about that.
Maybe a song or a dance? To introduce Beta.
There's someone on this computer that has a song on.
I saw.
Song, you know that?
There was actually one of the camps, Camp Aguda, or Belsky, or Yisrael Belsky, who I learned under, was one of the Rabbanim. Well, he passed away. He was the head of Camp Aguda, so his son took over. His son, at the end of the summer, they had a picture of Mishpacha magazine where he was dancing with the Gemara. He was holding the Gemara in the center of the circle. He was dancing around the Gemara. He did a dance for the Gemara. That's what he's showing. He's saying, you're not dancing around me, the Rosh Kol, you're dancing around the Gemara. You want to use the Gemara. Maybe Shmuel, you'll do a dance with the Gemara, Gemara Beitza. You can browse through the pages. All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.